Alright, here is a Zenith. This is a Trans Oceanic Royal 3000-1 from around 1967. This was sent to me by a viewer from the backstory I got, he picked this up at a yard sale or garage sale, and at a very low price, and said that he tinkered with it a little bit, and then wanted it to go to a good home. So he got a hold of me, and well, here it is. So we're going to see if this thing works. I don't know anything about it. He sent it and said he tinkered with it and said he got a little bit of static or something out of it, and that's about it. I do know, I think the battery pack has been removed on this thing. It originally took 8 D-cell batteries on the back here. And some stuff sent in here with some screws and some brackets and stuff, and so somebody's been in here monkeying around. It looks like some of the screws went in this piano hinge back here for the back cover, and then there's a bracket there, which I would assume probably had to do with the battery pack, and a nut, and it looks like a speed nut there. So anyway, and I'm already noticing some monkey work already. The speaker looks like it's been disconnected. And there's both the black and the yellow wire looks like it's been disconnected, so I don't know what's going on there. Don't know whether the person that sent this to me had an external speaker they had tried to hook up to get it to work, or what. That speaker may be no good, so maybe that was why they were doing that. I'm not sure. And then I notice here that the 12 volt external power plug has been disconnected, along with this goes on the side of it there. Looks like this would have went here, and that nut that was in here might be in that bag. It looks like it is, so we'll have to put that back together. The only thing I could figure is somebody had this thing apart and they were trying to work on it. Alright, along with the radio, he sent in this service manual here, which includes a schematic, and I definitely appreciate that. That makes things a whole lot easier to work on when you got a schematic. And looking at these power pack wiring set up here, which is this here, is this here. We've got a black wire, a green wire, and a brown wire. And according to the schematic, this green wire is ground. The black wire is the positive 12 volts, and the brown wire is the positive 1.5 volts. It's used for the dial light. So that's good to know that. You know, without the battery pack in here, it's kind of hard to imagine how this is wired up. When you get it like this, you're just kind of guessing. So now that we got a schematic, we don't have to guess. Alright, for testing purposes, we hooked up our speaker wires back in here, plugged those back into the speaker, and I've got a set of clip leads hooked up to it to an external power supply for I've got dialed in for right at 12 volts. So let's turn it around and fire it up and see what we get. See if anything works. See if this thing works or not. Oh, it sounds like I'm getting reception. Getting all that interference from my light above here.
Automatic bid, Michigan and Michigan State, the two in the championship.
Well, there's a 970 about 40 miles away. It's coming in loud and clear. Well, bass and treble works okay. Better go ahead and turn that before I get a copyright strike.
The main obstacles we encounter when we engage the enemy.
Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit stop.
You know, those days have long been, you know, pushed away.
Well, let's see what we get on the shortwave bands. Probably not much during this time of day. Alright, I just reached back there and hooked up the long wire antenna, and I had a few of you asking what kind of long wire antenna I use, and it's called a beverage antenna. It's strung up on a fence post, goes for quite a ways, and just terminates into a grounding resistor. You hook the twin lead to it, one to the element and the other to a ground, and then the other just ends in a resistor. Pretty simple antenna, but it's also pretty effective. We're on 9.5, 9.7. Alright, let's jump up into another band. Up to about 20 meters now on the 14 megahertz band. Not really a whole lot of propagation going on right now. Of course, we're at the bottom of a solar cycle, so we're not going to pick up a whole lot. bands have really been crappy lately, so. That's all it goes up to, just to 18.4. Or 18.5. As far as I could tell, this thing works.
Tag from Memphis, the American champion, John.
Yeah, I don't want to leave it on there. Alright, I think I figured out why this thing was taken apart. We're on the FM band and it's totally dead. We're not getting anything on FM at all. So that tells us a lot, though. What we've got is pretty much a working radio, but something in the FM band is out. Now it could be anything from a band switch to a wire come loose to a bad transistor or something in the FM circuit not working. So we'll need to dig a little bit deeper and find out why the FM's dead. Can move the switch, wiggle it back and forth, still not getting anything. You go back over the long wave, you get that. But it's just totally dead on FM. So now we know the reason why it's been monkeyed with. Alright, looking at the back of this thing, you can see where the chassis, this plate here is the chassis. And somebody has taken a few screws out. So there's some of the screw baggie accounted for. Alright, got it back together and playing somewhat. It's still not as strong as it should be, but I'll tell you what I found. Got these two transistors right here that are in the FM section. This is your RF FM transistor here. And then this is your FM oscillator and mixer transistor here. This transistor on the bottom, I don't know if you can see that germanium transistor's got a tab on it. They got 4 legs on them, and that tab's supposed to line up with a white dot that was on there. It's on that plug, the base of it there. And somebody had it turning the wrong way. They pulled that out and didn't put that in right. So pulled it back out, reseated it in there, and it seems to be getting a reception. It's just not what it's supposed to be. This is a local station here, and it's coming in really weak. Can tune across the dial and pick up stuff, and that station there is about 3 miles away, so it's coming in strong, but the transmitter is about 3 miles away. But it's coming in strong, but it's definitely not sensitive. So I don't know what's going on with this thing. We're gonna have to see if we can figure out some way to align the receiver, or see if we can figure out why the signal strength is so low. Alright, so back on this Zenith. It's been a little while since I messed with this thing. The thing quit on me, and all I could get was static. So I thought I would do a go, no-go type of test on these transistors. We got the transistor here. Let's see if I can remember which one it is. The RF amplifier for the AM shortwave section here. Is Zenith part number 121349. That's a 352, and this is a 349. Appears to have a collector to emitter short. So see if we can sit y'all down here. Shouldn't have any kind of short anywhere on here. I don't know if I'm in the camera's range or not, but we're going to clip onto this outer lead, which is the collector. If I can find my other probe buried in all this stuff around here. It's laying right here, right up under my nose. You hear the meter when it is a solid beep like that, means it's a dead short. Same thing as if I did this. Okay, so that transistor is bad. And we have a 121 352, which is our second IF transistor, but doesn't really matter. They are all the same in all the stages. Ground clip to the collector, positive to the emitter. So that one's bad too, and you can reverse them. If I don't drop it, you can reverse these. Put your ground to the emitter and positive to the collector and get the same thing. And it's the same on both transistors. So we have two bad transistors. I got to order some germaniums. This service literature that I was sent was needed to the radio with the radio is got some cross-reference part numbers here. 121 352 is a 2N 2089. That's what that crosses to. And the AMRF, for some reason they've got it marked here as a 12144, but it's a 2089 as well. So they're pretty much the same transistor. But yep, collector to emitter and emitter to collector short. So yeah, bad transistor. I got to get some transistors for it. So hopefully we can get back on this project pretty soon. Alright, I'm back on this Zenith Trans Oceanic that a viewer sent me. And last time we determined we had two bad transistors. So one of them was in the AMRF circuit and the other one was in the AM/FM/IF. And so we determined we needed a 2N 2089. We needed two of them, which is basically what these are. This have the Zenith part number on them. But anyway, we determined that we had a short between the emitter and the collector, and so we needed two transistors. And I got my hands on these old military transistors here from February of 2006. Yeah, February of 06. And these are NTE 160 germanium PNP transistors. These are a cross-reference from the 2N2089, which is a pretty old number, and so a cross of a cross. It's pretty common with old components, but yep, we got these old military ones here, so we get one of these things out and we'll see what we can put them in our radio, and hopefully we can get it working again. Alright, so here's our replacement transistor right here. We got it plugged in, and that lead you see is just the 4th shield lead. Doesn't really hook to anything. The original transistors just had them bent back. Just had it bent back like that. So that's what we did, and I'll probably cut that lead off just to keep it from catching something. But then we got our other one replaced over here. Got it plugged into its corresponding socket. So let's turn this thing around and see if we can get it, turn it on and see if it works again. Alright, we got our thing on here. Let's switch on the power supply and see if we get anything. There it is. Looks like 980 coming in. Let's put that light off.
With releasing your material things because it's
prosecutors, it sounds eerily just like what our president is going through.
Well, we got it back working again, at least on AM.
Exposed in the Department of
Go to some of these upper bands. It's during the daytime. It sounds like shortwave working too. Alright, I fiddle with this thing until I'm about tired of fiddling with it, so we're going to call it good on this. The FM is deaf. You know, I've went through all the circuits and checked everything, and everything seems to check out fine. I don't have all the alignment procedure on this radio, so we'll save that for another video, and maybe I can wake it up a little bit on FM. But all the other bands seem to perform good. Replaced 2 transistors, and I replaced a few electrolytics that were in there that were way off, and so a few of the resistors, all the resistors seem to be in the audio circuit that were off. But you know, really the audio circuit's fine. It's mainly in the FM circuit. And this thing has that tune slug deal in the this tune slug deal, and this thing's buried in that can in there, and I'm just not gonna fool with that too much. It's too difficult to get in and take apart, and I just don't want to fool with it. I need to clean all this up. I can clean this up. This is pretty nasty looking, but all that'll clean up. So like I said, the FM on this thing's a little dead, and here's something about this radio that I just figured out not too long ago. Push this little trigger back, and this pulls up, and you got a long You got a long rod antenna that goes up, probably about 4 feet long or so, and you can push it down and then lay the rod back down.
As the disappearance of this young lady spoke.
So the FM's a little dead or deaf.
I don't know if Muller had it. He would have run with it. And
Definitely not what I would expect out of a Trans Oceanic, but it is what it is. So. All I can do is pick up some heterodyning on long wave. It's just going to pick up the locals, doubling because they're so strong. AM reception seems to be quite good. Picks up stations all across the dial on my beverage antenna.
Time for work, right? Yes. This is your last chance to go ahead and control a substantial. 25 minutes, 30 seconds. In reality, Roger, you were an
970.
In such a way to
So we have 50. My daughter would leave, and I could not go with her.
I don't even remember who the author was. It's all right, look out.
And it is during the daytime, so thing does do quite well.
Entonces hoy vamos a ver la granja de gallinas que hemos hecho hasta.
Una campaña electoral.
All right, well that's it for now on my Zenith Royal 3000 old Trans Oceanic from about 1967. So all right, that'll do it for now, and maybe later on we'll pick up another video and fix all the other little issues with it. Appreciate you watching.